Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Ladies Wrestling Showcase. Here with myself and my tag team partner, Mel. How are you, Mel?
Oh man, I am doing amazing today. I had a great night last night where I got to take in some local professional wrestling, where I got to see Impact wrestler Masha Slamovich take on local favorite Kojima. Let me talk about Masha. My goodness. Say hi, Kojima. Masha Slamovich taking on Harlan Abbott for the Top Talent Championship. Ended in quite an interesting way there. You'll have to check out Top Talent's social media to see what happened there. But yeah, that was fun. How are you doing today, Astrid?
Trying to do things that I do in 3 days, do it in one, so I can have my weekend off. We'll see how that goes.
I hear you. I hear you.
But yeah, doing all right though. I want to thank Throwback for stopping by. He says, I'm driving home, but listening in. Best one to end the work week. Thank you. And Ed, even though I already showed his other comment. Thank you, Ed.
Hello, Ed. OL
Oh,
Ed.
figured you could introduce the topic since you're the one that brought it up in the first place, and we had to delay it
Yeah,
because of
let's just
me.
get you out of the way here so I can actually talk about the topics. Alrighty, so the topic we had today was something I had brought up a little bit ago, but we just had a lot of really amazing trends and topics come up within women's wrestling. So the thing that we're going to talk about today is our personal list of the top 5 women that you guys need to look out for in 2023. This is a list that both Astrid and I, as I mentioned, is our personal list. We constructed this based on our own personal viewership, our own personal likes and dislikes of whoever and whatever. I'm pretty excited. I saw the list that you had sent me before. Some of these ladies, I actually didn't know who they were. And that's the point of this is to introduce you guys to some new wrestlers who you maybe not heard of and might become massive fans of. I had the privilege of introducing my good friend Andre C, my partner on Andre and Melball's Wrestling Talk, to Stardom Wrestling, and let me tell you, he's a very happy man. Very happy man indeed. So, Astrid, how do we want to start today? Who wants to go with their first pick? And of course, again, this is in no particular order because we can't
Mhm.
scream all of these ladies' names all at once because we would
Yeah.
we would sound not okay. We would sound a little unstable.
Yeah, I would say mine too is like I tried coming up with a top five. It was super hard, but mine
Mhm,
in no particular order either. I'm trying to make sure that I have the picture for yours here. But no, it's like mine in no particular order. I just went by the people that not only that I like, but thinking back of like ladies that I think have been doing great since the end of last year. That I feel like that momentum carries over to this year. So
mhm,
that's
mhm.
just my disclaimer for my picks. I'm just saying.
Perfect, perfect.
Let's see. First one, I'm gonna go with this one, and this one is it's gonna be a lot of surprise for people that watch WWE, but I feel like she's starting the year off right, and I feel like it's only gonna go up from there. So I'm talking about the one and only Rhea Ripley. I
Oh,
feel like
mm,
her winning that Rumble, I feel like just the start of what she needs for this year, and like I know she's been great with the Judgment Day, but I feel like this is really gonna catapult her talent as a woman, female wrestler, and highlighting her more than before. Like we're already thinking like WrestleMania, her and Charlotte. That's something that I'm thinking like it's gonna be amazing. And thinking of like when they had their match, there was no fans, so we couldn't be there to cheer for either one of them. So it'll be interesting to see the fans being here and supporting Rhea on this. When it was her and Bianca for the last two for the Rumble, it's like I knew like right away that Rhea was gonna be one of those to watch out for after that. So I'm glad that this is happening to her now, and just thinking like I can't wait for her to win over Charlotte for that championship and get that win back that she never got at WrestleMania after Charlotte defeated her for the NXT Women's Championship, which is something that I never thought would happen at WrestleMania.
mhm.
But just like I think that this is what she needs, and her winning the title, I feel like it'll bring something fresh to the women's division. Especially if she gets moved to SmackDown, thinking of like SmackDown has been lacking a little bit when it comes to storylines with the ladies, and I've hoped like this is just a restart for what's coming up with them in that area there.
Mhm. Good choice. Good choice on the mommy.
Mhm.
Anyone that can make a little boy cry on live TV for you, my goodness. Yeah, good choice. Yes, I've been a big fan of Rhea Ripley since she started doing this like, goth girl change from that cutesy little thing that she was before. Yeah.
Mhm.
The brutality thing is just amazing. Yeah, very, very good choice, my friend. I very much am looking forward to it. I'm not a big WWE or AEW watcher, but I know who she is, and and that's saying something.
Yeah.
Definitely stalk her on all her socials. She's fun. I enjoy her. So,
Definitely.
my friend, do we want to filter into my number pick
Yeah. What you
here,
got?
Chicky,
Who are
to
you
look out
picking?
for? The one girl that we've actually talked extensively privately about this lady here, just to get her picture up there. Her name is Mariah May. She's now performing in Stardom with Mina Shirakawa and Zaya Brookside in the sub group within Cosmic Angels known as Club Venus. This was my actual first introduction to Mariah May. Was her bout in Stardom, but she's been around for a hot minute. Debuting in 2019. She actually debuted in originally as a ring announcer. So she kind of like, like most people in the industry, they start somewhere, they kind of work up. She also worked for the WWE UK Performance Center there. She was invited down to do a tryout there. Um, guess it didn't really go well for that, but I mean, she ended up in Revolution Pro out there. Now she's in Stardom. I would say this is probably a plus.
Yeah.
When she first debuted in Stardom, I'm not gonna lie, when this was again my first introduction to her, I was really concerned because it looked a little iffy, but she's every single match is getting better and better and better and better. She's clearly learning the everything out there, and she's really come into the character for me. Seeing her come out there doing her cute little poses and her little dance with Mina and Zaya, but then seeing her like her finisher is this wicked looking pile driver that she calls the happily ever after. You got to respect a girl who's like decked in bubblegum pink with frills and lace and then just
Mhm.
comes out there and wrecks your day by power bombing you off of the apron to the floor and then following it up with a pile driver just
Yeah.
to wreck your day. She's also very, very active in social media. She has a YouTube channel under her name, Mariah May. And then she also has a Twitch channel where she actually does a lot of like video game playing, modeling. She does a lot of modeling. I didn't even realize she was in Calgary last year for the Calgary Stampede. And I'm like, well, she's would have gone to that if I knew she was going to be there. But
That's
yeah,
fun.
this is my lady. I think you guys should definitely look out for because she is with Stardom. There's a very good chance that because she's packaged in there with the NJPW, because Stardom and NJPW are owned by the same
Mhm.
people, there's a good chance that we could start seeing people like Mariah May and her partner Mina Shirakawa potentially popping up in AEW, potentially popping up in Impact. You never know. I would personally love to see it, and I think it would be a tremendous crossover for them because a lot of people struggle with that language barrier. Because she does already have the English, it would be certainly helpful. What's this? She likes to sell her 8x10s. I mean, that's how you make your money, honey. Got to make those dollar bills. She's a fighting princess. You can't afford to be a fighting princess without selling them 8x10s.
Good point. I don't have anything against that one.
Yeah, exactly. Take what your mama gave you, honey.
Right,
Works for
why
you.
not? If you can,
So,
why
my
not?
friend, let's get into the next pick for your lady to look out for this year.
This one, for those of you that don't know, I cover pretty much a lot of NXT, so I feel like she started a little bit like as people say, a little bit iffy for me, and I thought, yeah, she's not gonna do great. But I feel like little by little she's been improving so much, and I feel like the buzz she's got on social media from like feedback, like positive feedback about her, how much she has improved in the last couple of weeks is incredible to watch. And I feel like even though she's not particularly in a winning streak or anything like that, but at least whenever she goes against somebody, they do highlight each other in a way that they complement each other like that. And that's
Mm.
none other than Sol Ruka from NXT. She's been doing
Oh,
great, and I feel like implementing a lot of her gymnastics background in her wrestling. And her wrestling movie, if you haven't seen it, I have to send you the clip, The Soul Snatcher. Beautifully done. I love how she does it.
is that
It's
that
I know it's
springboard thing
funny.
she does?
Yes,
Yeah,
very
yeah.
nice. So yeah, I like the name of it. Not only that, but I feel like just seeing it, it's been like nice to watch it the way she does it, and it looks very nasty, which is exactly how it should be. As Ed calls her the high energy Charlotte Flair. I
Right?
remember telling Ed when her entrance is like similar to Charlotte's when Charlotte first started NXT, like doing her like handstand and everything inside the ring like that. She
Oh,
does
that's
something similar. So when I saw her, I looked at her and I was like, yeah, there was this Charlotte when she started NXT and a little bit of the main roster at first too. But I feel like she just that person like she has grown into her own in the last couple of weeks. So it's nice to see how much she grows as time goes by.
cool, cool. Yeah, I have seen a couple clips of this girl, her that finish that she does out of the corner is like a little weird, like springboard stunner
And
thing.
Cutter, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Cutter, yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Andre's the one
That's
with
the
the
same
moves, you
thing.
guys, not me.
No, me neither.
Yeah, yeah. I'm really impressed from what I see. High energy Charlotte Flair. I mean, that's already piqued my interest. This is a big Flair fan right here, and saying that, ooh, okay, maybe that would actually fit well in Stardom too. You never know. You never know.
Yeah, and here to throw past comment. What about Wendy Chu? Broke out a little bit in 2022, not fully. I think he might be there. I love Wendy Chu. Don't get me wrong. She's like as tells everybody like that's me with my naps, but I feel like she's had like little feuds here and there, but nothing to like make her stand out. Which is something that I've been
Mhm,
like disappointed about. He's like,
mhm,
oh, we'll have like two matches like somebody here and two matches like somebody there, and then
mhm,
nothing really happens out of it. And I know how talented she is because I'm thinking of like back on like what her character was at NXT at first to what she is now. She has a good range in her
mhm.
characters there, but I wish she would have. She doesn't get highlighted the way the soul has been highlighted. Let's say it like that. It doesn't
Mhm,
help either. Yeah.
mhm. Yeah, I don't know too much about that one. I know she's a slumber party girl, right? The one who wears the bunny
Yeah.
slippers. Yeah, I just know her look. Unfortunately, NXT and WWE not my jam. Sorry, throwback. All right, well, let's move on to my amazing next person because, Lord, she is very similar to the one that you just brought up here. The woman that I'm referring to is another Japanese girl who was introduced to me through Stardom, and that lovely lady's name is Mai Sakurai. Sakurai started with the company 2021. She has not been wrestling very, very long at all, and she actually debuted with another company that I struggled to like say the name of for like about an hour before coming on here. I believe the pronunciation is Act Res Girls. It's like the word act, WRES from wrestling, and
Mhm.
girls with a Z. Really not phonetically sound for me, but yeah, she started in there. Didn't really have a lot. She was only in there for about a year. Came into Stardom in August 2021, where she joined the Cosmic Angels. And the Cosmic Angels in Stardom are like this little choreographed dance group. They come out. I've showed you before. I call them the Space Fairies. They're very glittery. They're very happy. They choreograph all their intros. It's very like heartwarming, and I absolutely love it because then they just knock your head off. Unfortunately for my Sakurai, though, her joining with the Cosmic Angels did not work well for her. She was on a losing streak, and I actually, when I first started watching Stardom, she was a part of Cosmic Angels, and I never saw her pick up a win. She was always taking the loss. She was always getting pinned, and she was working so hard. She was getting very, very visually frustrated in the ring with the situation. Um, Eventually, not long after I started watching, it was about 2 months after I started watching, she actually heel turned on her faction and said that she didn't want to dance anymore. She wanted to win. And as my commentary partner Andre C likes to say, "Boy, howdy, did she ever!" When she left the Cosmic Angel, she joined Donna Del Mondo, who is run by the World of Stardom champion Julia. That right there should tell you everything you need to know about what happened to
Mhm.
Mai Sakurai. This girl has been picking up wins left, right, and center. She's been stepping up everything. Her moves have gone from being shaky to being stiff, crisp, and confident. Everything she does with purpose and confidence, and she has fun with it. She absolutely loves it. This is your lady that you want to look out for. She's going to be coming, and she's come into it pretty late. Like she's 32 years
Mm.
old, only been wrestling for a few years, so she came in fairly late in her career. I personally think I'd like to see her steamroll ahead on this one, just so she can maybe start to maybe take over Donna Del Mondo from Julia. You never know one day.
Yeah, I like the story already as it is.
Mm-hmm.
For my next one, I think it's gonna be no surprise to Ed either. Also from NXT. I feel like this year, I'm hoping this is her breakout year. It's not the way I hoped it would go because I was hoping she would get something else for the main roster. But either way, I'm excited for her because I feel like she really looks like a rock star. So I can't wait to see what she does on her own. And then that's another than Toxic Attractions, JC Jane. I mean, look at her already. She looks incredible. Um, but it was like what happened this week in NXT with like her and Gigi breaking up from each other. I was hoping they would go together to the main roster and be part of the the tag team division. But if you're gonna bring her on her own, I feel like she already is confident when she does her promos. So I really can't wait to see what she does next when she's by herself, to see what her character will be like by herself as well. So I'm curious to see how it goes. Hello, Papa Smokes. Thank you for
Oh, it's
stopping
Papa
by.
Smokes. Oh, shout out Papa Smokes. I met Tom Lawler last night, and I didn't
Mm.
scream like your cat when I met him. I was good.
Like and it's always saying it's like the wrong member of Toxic. We'll never agree on this one. No, we would not.
Debatable.
I Yeah, I'm like I'll show you clips, but it's like for me, she looks and sounds more confident when she's doing her promos and interviews versus how Gigi sounds, and that's why she stands out to me as it is. And don't get me wrong, I love Gigi too. I love both of them, but she stands out to me a little bit more than Gigi does when she
Mhm.
talks. And so I'm excited to see like what will be like for her being solo going forward, and how that will be like for her. Like I'm used to seeing her in a tag team somehow. It's like or her being involved with Mandy or with Gigi. So not to see her by herself and to like be able to shine out on her own as something that I'm excited to see how it looks going forward. Oh, he's been laughing about that one. Ooh,
I promised to be on my best behavior yesterday. I think I was. I think I achieved
yeah, I think you were so far from
this.
what I've heard. Um, but yeah,
From
this
the
is
clips that I've seen of her, yeah, man, yeah.
yeah. I think I gotta show you if you haven't seen it, the clip of like the kick that she did to
Oh, in the
Gigi.
door?
Yeah,
That was a strong
that
shell
is
kick if I've ever seen one. Gosh dang.
exactly. So I feel like she looks incredible as it is. I mean, she's always to me looked like a rock star with all three of them when
Mhm,
they've been in the ring together. So I'm just excited to see what she does moving forward. Like I said, it's not the vision that I had for her for 2023, but it
mhm,
just I'm excited to see her like how she goes after this by herself though.
mhm. Good pick, good pick. That one's another one. I don't know a lot about her because it is on a show that I'm not particularly privy to. Uh, yeah, they don't typically
Yeah.
give. That's the point of them. um, yeah, I haven't like I said, I'm not very privy to this girl. I don't really know a whole lot about her, but the things that I have seen of the clips like on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, that story in all, like the whole story of Toxic Attraction, even through the Mandy Rose controversy, has been very interesting and very fascinating to kind of follow there. So I think I would like to see that one go further because the Gigi's a little on the fence for me. She's wacky and wild and fun, and I enjoy that. But like sometimes she gets like an excited puppy to the end of that flexi leash, and you just gotta lock that button and pull it back in a little bit, girl. There's some things you don't do, and let's hopefully we don't revisit some of the things that Gigi has done in her past with
Yes,
professional
totally agree.
wrestling. So, my
Yeah.
friend, would you like to hear about my next choice? Because I think we both know that we both like this lady.
Yes.
Yes,
Definitely
my
do.
next choice was the incomparable, the beautiful, the talented Lady Frost. She has had one hickety heck of a year, man. I love this girl. I absolutely love her. I mean, look at this picture. Look at those shoulder pads. Those are amazing. But going back into her career, she
Mhm.
started her career actually again, like Mariah May started as a ring announcer. She started as a valet for her husband, Mr. Victor Benjamin,
Mhm.
rather handsome man, lucky lady there. She actually started wrestling with him as a tag team.
Mhm.
You see the
It's
name of their
is
tag team?
it proper business, if I'm mistaken? I know something
Pretty
business.
proper.
There you go. There you go. I
Pretty
know something
proper.
proper.
I love
Yes.
it. I love it. And that was where she kind of came up with that moniker, Lady
Mhm.
Frost. I absolutely love this woman. The lucha tendency she has, the look that she has, the talent, the strength, the speed. I remember one of the first times that I saw her was actually when you and I actually did the review for the Impact All Women's show there, where she
Hmm.
was a part of the what was it? Was it the? It was a
The
big,
Ultimate
big
X.
match, Rumble match. There's a lot of them in there. Was it Queen of the Mountain?
Yeah, Queen of the Man and Ultimate X is one of the last ones we've done.
I think it was the Ultimate X actually, because I think that was when Tasha Steelz won.
Her, yeah,
Um,
her moonsault.
Yeah, that was kind of like my first full introduction to her, and I was hooked. Absolutely hooked on this lady. Had an incredible year. She's worked on WWE Raw. She worked Asuka on Raw. Like, how incredible
Mm.
is that? She's worked for a company named Jakara. She's worked for Shimmer, Hurricane Pro, AEW, NWA, Impact, and now she is with, I think, a company that is finally recognizing her talent, and that is CMLL in Mexico. Her end of 2022 was pretty freaking amazing. She found herself in the finals of the CMLL International Grand Prix,
Mhm.
which she sadly did lose against. Oh my goodness, I need to pull up the notes to close to read this properly because goodness, I am not Spanish. She was in the finals with Dalis La Caribeña, and then
Yes.
she went on to win the CMLL Women's Copa. Oh, this one was another one I struggled with. Bicentenario?
Hmm.
Bicentenario? I don't know how to say that. I think it's
Yeah.
bicentennial tournament.
Yeah.
She won that with Dallas right afterwards. She had an incredible end to the year. She's got nowhere to go but up for 2023, especially if CMLL keeps recognizing this woman's infinite talent and experience in that ring. And gosh
Mhm.
golly, she's another one who has this chameleon tendency where like every month she seems to have a new look, new gear, new something. I absolutely love that. It shows such a tremendous evolution in the character and where they're going. What do you think,
Yeah,
my
I
friend?
want to. I really I love her look. Her husband's so funny. I love seeing them together. They're such like couple goals. I love seeing them on social media.
They are.
But yeah, like you, like I had heard of her, but the first time I really saw her wrestle was in with when she was in Impact, which unfortunately didn't end the way I hoped. I was
Mhm.
thinking, with the way there with the knockouts, Impact will be a good way for her to grow.
Mhm.
Obviously didn't go that way, but I'm glad she's
Mhm.
doing what she's doing. I don't know the name of the event, but I know she was Team USA for a recent event they did. I think it's female as well, if I'm not mistaken. I
Yes, it
don't
was. Yeah,
remember. Yeah,
that was the Grand
I
Prix.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I know it was in Mexico, but I
Mhm.
wasn't entirely sure. But just seeing her there and being highlighted the way she was, I was like, good. Finally, somebody's doing something with her. That's what I was thinking. But I
Mhm.
love seeing like her like gear, like doing the graphics and the promotions for all that for the events. Like she looks incredible.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
I wanted to also highlight Throwback's comments that Tia here, watch out for her because you'll be very pleasantly shocked how things were all out, even though she won't make it to the title belt NXT this year. Could be her. Everybody pay attention, notice more. What I like about her that I know it annoys the crap out of Ed is like I love how she's one of those like when she gets to be serious, she doesn't get to do it often. She's more like comedy acts, but she does it so well for somebody so young with her facial expressions too. I love how she does it, and there she's so freaking cute and adorable. And I love even like watching her like run away this week from Schism. It was so funny to see it. But I feel like it sometimes it takes guts for me. Like for me, for example, I don't show a lot of like a goofy personality because I feel like it's embarrassing. So if I'm like,
Mhm.
I can't do it, but like to see somebody do it on TV is like props to you if you get the guts to do it because and I get like she gets to do stuff like that. She gets to be a
Mhm.
goof and like enjoy her job doing it. So it's like, more power to you by doing it that way.
Oh
So it's
yeah.
like I that's why I like Thea too. But I feel like she hasn't really wrestled as much. She's usually more of like a valet kind of person in NXT. So I would like to
Mhm.
see her wrestle more often. We don't really get to see that.
100%, 100%. I don't actually know who that is. Again, not an NXT watcher, but like to hear your description on it, like completely relatable. Like what you see sitting on these podcasts is not the Melball that you get when you actually go to the venue, especially when I've had a few
Go to her
shots.
Instagram. There's the goofy side.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That is the sure. Yeah, we'll go with that. That's the goofy side. Yeah. Crop tops and biceps. That's my goofy side, you guys.
Yeah. Let's see. This next person that I have, again, it's just like somebody that I started got introduced to her not too long ago. I feel like she's been doing incredible in the ring. I'm hoping to find her picture here too. Um, I feel like she's been doing incredible, like in her in the indie run. So far she has been recently featured in MLW, and she was in AEW as well not too long ago. Like even thinking about it, like her being so young, and she already gets to be in the dark tapings of AEW, facing not only like one of the big people like Britt Baker in AEW. It's incredible to think about, and I feel like when you think of like intergender wrestling, she's one of those people that she comes to mind. And I interviewed her not too long ago too, so it's nice to see her like everything she's done like so far, and like she got to go to Japan, which is one of the things she wanted to do as well, and that's none other than the Space Jesus, Billy Stark. Yeah, I feel like she's been doing incredible, like good run, and I know now she even like her dad gifted her like a entrance music from Mikey Ruckus. So it's I think it's nice to see her like doing so many things. Like I can't wait to like somebody for like AW really signs her and gives her like more time to develop. But I feel like for an 18-year-old, it's incredible how well she does. And like imagine her wrestling guys being an 18-year-old. Like it's something I never would have pictured. Um, but she's so young, and I feel like she can end up growing even more than what she does already. And if you haven't checked her out, I definitely like recommend that you do. It's one of those like I can't wait to like see her when I see her son. It's like I got to interview her, and I was like I want to see her live though. I haven't had the opportunity that I hope to do it in the future, but that's one of those that I'm like I hope to see her live sometime soon because she's very sweet. It's one of those people like when I reached out to interview her, I never thought she would answer, and she was like always like I will answer every DM, and if I forget the opportunity to give an interview with somebody like as small as me, for example, and she's like it's something that I get to do, and she's very humble about it too. Like imagine finishing high school while you're balancing wrestling as well and traveling. Like that's incredible to think about as it is.
It's true. It's true. And like in Stardom, we actually see that happen quite often. The twins Rena and Hina. Rena took a year off school to continue wrestling with Stardom, whereas Hina was absent for the year because she was back in school. Same with Hanan. They're young enough. Like I didn't even realize this. Rena and Hina were 17 years old. No, sorry, 16.
Wow.
They're 16-year-old twins that work for Stardom. There's a girl named Mirren who works for Diana, 12 years old. Huh. Professional wrestler, 12 years old. Holy hot dang. Crazy over
Yep.
there. Speaking of
Never
crazy
would have
over
thought about it.
there. Yeah, speaking of crazy over there, my next choice of the ladies to look out for in 2023, again, is another Stardom wrestler. And if you follow Melball, you've heard me and seen me post about this woman. Um, it's not Micah, just so everyone knows. And that is my girl crush in Stardom, but it is not Micah. It is the one, the only, the crazy, the scary Suzu Suzuki. This woman, I mean, just look at that. This is a 20-year-old
Mhm.
old deathmatch specialist. At again, 20 years old, and she does death matches. She's more cut up than most men that I've seen wrestling in a 20-year career, let alone at the age of 20. She's known for her time in the Ice Ribbon promotion in Stardom, but she's now considered a freelance independent wrestler. Wrestling with her faction Prominence. Shout out Prominence. I love Prominence. Um, Headed by Risa Serra. And then right now, Risa Serra, Suzu Suzuki, and I always mess up how I say her name. Kurumi Hiragi are all the artists, right? Stardust? Artist of Stardom champions, which is their trios champions, and they're participating in the Triangle Derby right now. Suzu Suzuki, though, just had one of the most incredible matches I have ever seen February 4th at the Supreme Fight Show, where she took on the World of Stardom champion Julia in one of the heaviest, hardest hitting matches that I've seen Julia have this year, which yeah, that's not saying that she does that. Julie just has those kinds of matches. But Suzu Suzuki absolutely put the world champion to the test. She barely came out with a win on this. And the craziest thing about this is you guys got to remember her last name is Suzuki. I don't know what it is about that name. It's almost like a symbiote where like you take on the name and you take on this ultra super dark violent personality, but you are sitting there smiling about it.
Mhm.
Very similar to Minoru Suzuki, the murder grandpa, as I like to refer to him, and Andre like to refer to him. Suzu Suzuki is just as menacing, just as crazy, but she's pretty. So a little bit more watchable than Minoru Suzuki at times. She is very, very heavy hitting, very, very great submission artist. Again, that she's very creative with her deathmatch stuff. Also, she's not that just stereotypical, I'm going to beat you with a kendo stick. She's going to do some kind of weird spot or fun spot to make it interesting. I hope, I really do hope that she is one of these people that does come over with the Stardom trade over, just because again I feel like everything about her look, everything about her wrestling could be extremely marketable in North America, especially with that bloodlust that everyone seems to have for these death matches. And like
Yeah.
it's hard to find other women also to want to do some death matches over there. Suzu Suzuki has a reputation for wrestling some of the craziest men death match people over there. There's that one, I always forget his name, and probably because I don't want to remember it. He just looks crazy. He has no teeth, and his everything is cut. Everything.
Is it Nick?
Hmm?
Nick Cage?
No, no, it's a Japanese guy.
No.
The guy is
Oh, I was
literally a
like, oh, I'm going by the death matches over here.
no, but you know, she would have an incredible match
Mm-hmm.
with him. She would have an
Yes.
incredible match with Nick
Yeah.
Gage. Bring that on. I would love to see that. GCW, get on
Yeah.
it.
You never know.
Hey, you never
Let's see. For my last one, again, this is gonna be no surprise to a lot of people. I shout her out as much as I can. Um, I feel like she's starting the year off right by being champion. She had a really great defense as it was, um, not too long ago now. And it just, I keep thinking like she's been the youngest woman to ever be in the Royal Rumble. And thinking about it already, she's been in NXT, but she's been featured on Raw, featured on SmackDown as it is, and she hasn't even been part of the main roster yet. And I feel like she's only been in here for less than a year. She's done incredible as it is. She's the Iron Survivor. She's the breakout star for the women in NXT, and that's none other than the prodigy Roxanne Perez. Like I said, she's done so great in NXT, and she's already has so many accomplishments. And it's incredible to think about she's done this in like less than a year, but I feel it's something like nobody really can take away from her. And like I jumped and I screamed when I saw that she was in the Rumble, and it was incredible to see her like in her home state being part of that Rumble there, being featured already with the likes of like Bailey backstage and Liv. So I'm like already have people like Bailey talking about her and wanting her to be, part of like something more. So it's nice to see her. I hope we get to revisit something with Bailey in the future as well. As Ed is saying, I'm shocked she's on your list, Astrid. Yeah, very shocking to see
know.
her. But I feel like she's so young as well. And we like Booker's always talking about her because she was part of like Reality of Wrestling, his wrestling school. But
Mm,
yeah, not only that, by being Latina, I get to relate to her a lot. So it's very nice to see like a Latina that doesn't make being a Latina like her personality, and she still like goes to the ring, kicks ass, and she does what she needs to do. And I can only see great things for her going on this year. So I'm really excited. Like she had that defense against Gigi Dolan and Chasey Jane at Vengeance Day, which I like. That match was very nice. I really enjoyed it. So I just can't wait to see what, whoever they pick next for her and what she does next against them too. So yeah, that's my number one.
and she's so cute. So cute.
Yeah.
Again, this is another one that I don't know a ton about, but every time I see a clip about her or something about her, I can't help but stop and watch it. Like if I'm scrolling through Instagram and I see it, it's just like, oh, okay, this is a watch. This is something I can actually stop and actually take the time to appreciate. Her work is so good. So good. Um Interesting to see how she does this year. I'm curious to see the range that she has. Like her facial expressions are so, so, so good. I'm kind of excited to see what kind of happens with her because I've heard there's a feud with her going on with somebody right now, isn't there? Because obviously she's a champion. Who is she
Yeah, she
feuding
just
with right now?
Well, she just ended her feud with Gigi and JC, so we'll see who goes
Who's she
against
feuding
her
with
now.
before?
But on this Tuesday, she's teaming up with Meiko Samura to go against
Oh.
Katana and Kaden. So it'll be really cool to see because she had a match with Meiko before her absence on NXT. So this is Meiko's return to NXT. So I'm really excited to see them team up too.
Ah, that's exciting. I really like
Mhm.
Mako. Woman after my own heart, that one.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Excellent. Well, without further ado, we're going to get into the Melball's favorite one here. Again, another stardom woman. We shouldn't be surprised about this. You've got all of the amazing North American ladies. I've got all of the Japanese ladies here. Had to go without a shadow of a doubt because Andre also probably would have killed me if I didn't mention this lady, and that
Mhm.
is this World of Stardom champion, Julia. How incredible is this woman? She's 28 years old, came into stardom about, I think, about 6 years ago. She was wrestling with Ice Ribbon before and actually had a feud with the last girl that I mentioned, Suzu Suzuki. Before leaving that, they actually had left that feud kind of open and didn't really have any closure to it. This last Saturday, so the fourth, they had an incredible showdown, and let me tell you, Julia rocked. She got rocked, but don't let this tiny like frame here fool you. Julia is part Italian as well as part Japanese. So you gotta understand that Italian in her is gonna get the best of you because they're feisty. If a Francesco Akira has taught me anything about the feistiness of these Italians, yeah, she's absolutely amazing. It's something that we've talked about before. Is that I absolutely love how Julia is a constant chameleon within her craft. This look, I sent this look to you. This was her look like a month ago. Completely different now. Completely different style, completely different color, completely different hairstyle. It's absolutely incredible to watch her change from evolution to evolution, and her personality changes with it. Every time you get a new look with Julia, you need to expect a new personality to go along with it. Last year was a rough year for Julie. I'm not going to lie, though. She and Suri, I believe, were the Goddess of Stardom champions. And then they ended up losing the titles. Suri ended up breaking away from the Donna Del Mondo faction, which Julia actually is the captain of, and formed her own faction and took Mirai with her. And then she lost Natsupoi also to the Cosmic Angels and Tam Nakano. Gained my Sakurai though, so hey, that's pretty good. But the feuds that Julia has kind of been in, especially with Suri for the rest of the year, has been very, very intense, very, very fun and entertaining to watch as a fan. Just because these girls, after the matches, they're not like the guys where they like, you know, how they start doing the buck thing and they start ramming their heads into each other, being like, "Meh, meh, 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 meh." They don't do this. The girls, they just they hit each other. They they just slap each other or they grab each other's hair and they put each other in submissions. It was dirty. It was awesome. It was intense. It was full of emotion. And their showdown for the world title in December there for the Queendom show was absolutely off the chain. That match was all over the arena. At one point, I thought Julia actually broke Suri because she actually suplexed her off of the entrance ramp, which is elevated about 7 feet above the ground. So she actually suplexed her off of that into the crowd and onto the chairs. And in doing so, I think she actually got hung up on the barricade. So like she just took a full back bump on the barricade. I thought she was going to break her back, but she wrestled another, I think, 20 minutes after that, and then beat
Yeah.
Suri to win the World of Stardom Championship. Like this woman is absolutely incredible. Again, with Stardom, I'm really hoping for this crossover where we can see her pop up in Impact, we can see her
Mhm.
pop up in AEW, and we could see her like how freaking cool, Astrid, would it be to see Julia take on Jamie Hayter, champion versus champion? Um,
Mm.
Utterly amazing, and they've had their showdowns before, I'm sure. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that was my number one pick for the ladies there.
Yeah, thank you,
Oh,
Steve. He says, "Can't stay by popping and say hi. Keep up the amazing work you're both doing." Thank you.
thank you, sir.
Um, and throwback here. Also, as crazy as this sounds, maybe Lita and Trish together as a tag team in WWE to break out as a tag team and go on a run. I think that will make the women's tag titles more visible to casual fans. I mean, I'm like okay and not okay with it because I don't like the fact of like having to rely on like anybody that's like a Hall of Famer or anybody that's not in the
Mhm,
company anymore and just like being there part time.
mhm,
So
mhm,
we'll see how that goes. I feel like you should use who you have right now and just highlight them in such a way that they need other people coming in younger from
mhm,
NXT and
mhm,
like that back and forth there rather than using somebody who's a Hall of Famer or a part timer who's not really there often. Um,
mhm,
but yeah, I feel like there's a lot of teams, but I feel like they need to find a way to manage them a little bit better and not break
mhm,
them off so quickly. They usually have a team for like a year, and then after that, it's like, no, we're done.
mhm,
No, let them be a team. Like, look at how we have with New Day. Like, New Day has had so many great things going on for them, and they've been a
mhm,
tag team for so long. But we have so many mixes of things that they've done that it doesn't get
mhm,
boring. So it's like I feel like they need to do something like that with the ladies and
mhm,
just learn to like keep them together. Like you could have kept Sasha and Naomi together, and look how that happened. It's like I feel like they
mhm,
did so well, and it ended on a on a great highlight, and then downfall from there. But that's
mhm,
just like
mhm,
my example because I'm thinking like I want the women's tag team titles to be highlighted more often. Just like Impact is
mhm,
doing something similar because they only have the death dolls and I feel like they have one team and it kind of one breaks off for a team and then all of a sudden they leave. So it's like
mhm,
they had Madison rated Emma, Madison went to AEW, Emma to WWE. They had basically the iconics. Again, one of them they both left. One of them has a child and the other one just not wrestling right now. And
mhm,
then now
mhm,
with like Diona and Chelsea going to WWE, Diona staying there like in the background at this point. So I'm glad they
mhm.
brought in like the Hex. I know you probably haven't seen it, but they
Oh, no,
I
Sienna
was
and
there for
LaBelle. Yeah, yeah, I saw that, yeah.
yeah, I was there for the taping, so, like, seeing them there, I was like, "Finally, we get somebody, please don't break them up." It's like they're a great
Mhm,
team together, so just leave them as it is and highlight the women's tag teams more often. I feel like they should also consider bringing people from the outside to, like, bring something in and see how it goes, and if you see that they do
mhm,
well and they get a good reception, sign them, and
mhm,
I'm hoping, like, the Hex is officially signed. I don't know any details about that, but I would like to see that happening too.
mhm,
Throwback, keep killing it, guys. I just got home. I did my almost like Momoto-san. I know. I hope he's doing good, little Brody.
mhm.
He's very cute.
Just
But
to
yeah.
quickly go back to that, like,
Yeah.
I agree. I don't think that Lita and Trish should be something that comes out and does a run. I think it should be like a WrestleMania moment thing, like the streak. Just not because how do I say this nicely? I don't want to say outdated, but
Mhm.
they're outdated. The
Their time has
women's
passed.
wrestling that has emerged and evolved from when they wrestled to what we're experiencing now are completely different. And I don't feel, this is so bad. I don't feel that Trish and Lita could hang. I don't feel they could hang with the women on the division right now. Just because these women are super talented. They're super duper talented. It's not to say that Trish and Lita aren't, but it's like they were talented in the time that they were wrestling, but they're like me now. They're like old and grizzled and they need assistance. Um, and like, Trish maybe not so much because, yoga does amazing things for your body. But like, if we're seeing, could Lita keep up with Roxy? I would have to say no. But like the suggestion to have it as something like a special moment, like, oh
Mhm.
yeah, your team performed so well this year that you guys get the opportunity to take on this amazing team of, the frenemies for life, clearly Lita and Trish, that's something I could totally get behind because it's not something that's going to be shoved down my throat the entire year. Because I agree, it should be something that the full timers are giving the opportunity to have those showcase moments, whereas like the other guys are kind of like they should be the background.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do agree with you on that, my friend.
Yeah, I feel like like you said, I can see it like happening like if they did, for example, attrition leader versus damage control. And damage control wins at the end. I feel like that's great because it brings them up to a higher level because of who they beat,
Hmm.
rather than having attrition leader become champions, for example. If it was
Hmm.
another time, I would have loved it, but I feel like it's just it's past the time. Like for example,
Yeah.
for me, I don't like the Bella Twins, but I would have liked for them to have been tag team champions because that's what they did most of the time, but they didn't have tag team titles to be champions. So like
Hmm.
I wouldn't mind them being like champions maybe like a month or two tops. But again, for me, will be like Damage Control versus the Bella Twins. Damage Control wins, and then that brings it a little
Hmm.
bit higher up for them, being that they beat the Bellas who've been tag teaming for so long. So like
Hmm.
little details like that is how I would rather keep it as of like if they bring
Hmm.
these people, it will be to like catapult the talent that is staying there rather than like,
Exactly.
oh, they win, but then what happens after that? They're gonna be gone in a month or two, and then
Hmm.
what was the point of the win? So it's like I feel like it just depends on the storyline and the situation there.
Yeah, 100%. Because like something I noticed from watching Japanese wrestling and watching North American wrestling, we're sentimental over here. We're very much like old yeller kind of thing. So like when someone's retiring, typically the retiring person wins the match. And to me, in a story and like reasonable, realistic thing, that's not what would happen. Because realistically speaking, as much experience as the vet has, you're dealing with the new hotness. There's a reason why this is the new hotness. And in Japan, when someone's retiring, they don't win. They lose because they're stepping aside. It's like a representation that they're stepping aside for the new guy to come in. Liger
Mhm.
retired with Hiromu Takahashi. Hiromu Takahashi is a five-time IWGP Junior Champion. He's the new hotness. He has taken over that mantle of
Mhm.
highness there from Liger. Same thing. I suspect that we're coming down to the same thing with Yuji Nagata and Minoru Suzuki. It's and Iska. Iska was another one. He lost his retirement match, and we didn't see him again for like 2 years. So like, yeah, it's definitely something it's a very different, very noticeable difference. And I agree with what you said, my friend.
Yeah, to me, it's one of those moments like to me, it's like a passing of the torch. It's like you want
Hmm.
that new person to win. So like to say, like, I beat so and so, and I it's incredible to think about. I wouldn't mind if
Yeah.
like somebody wins their retirement matches, it's their last match, so you're hoping they could also go for the victory. But like
Hmm.
at this
Hmm.
point, I wouldn't mind. I don't want somebody like Trish and Lita to be tag team champions. I really don't. I feel like just past
Agreed.
the time. I
Hmm.
would prefer like somebody like Damage Control. Like I said earlier, I would have prefer having Toxic Attraction stay as a team and go
Hmm.
against Damage Control. That was like my original like vision for things. I was thinking trio versus trio, like that would be nice to see. Um,
Hmm.
Now with Kate and Katana that they lost the titles, like if they go to the main roster, put them against Damage Control. Like I want to see those kind of combinations that a lot of people don't think about at first. But I would like to see something like that moving forward with the ladies. To just like
Hmm.
highlight the tag teams, don't break them up. Like I know understand there could be disagreements because we're friends and there's disagreements all the time. Like you see us like we kind of close to the little time we know each other, but we're gonna disagree about things. We grew up in different ways
Hmm.
and different aspects, so we're not gonna agree
Mhm.
100% of the time, but it doesn't mean we hate each other either. Like it's just like you can
Yeah.
you can easily
Like
do that in a storyline of like, oh, I don't agree with you on this, but we're gonna keep going because we're a tag team. Like it doesn't
mhm.
go against any rules to keep them going
Yeah.
that way. But
100%, 100%. I mean, like that's the job of the wrestlers too, right? Make it exciting. That it's not just your job to show up and be athletic, It's your job to make it entertainment for us. It's essentially an episode of some kind of fantasy that we're watching right now, and we want that kind of jazzed up. I like to think that wrestling is my Survivor Island or something like that, or Big Brother, or whatever it is that you kids are watching.
but yeah, that basically wraps it up for us for this
Mhm.
episode. It just we wanted to like have people like to highlight and people if you don't know about them to watch out for them. Especially for
Mhm.
like for me, I don't know about the people from Stardom, and so like it's just a good way to get to know other wrestlers there too. So that's why we
Mhm.
put up actually also the pictures so you get to know who they are and what they look like too, and follow them if you haven't because I feel like it's great to be a part of their journeys too. But before we wrap it up and before I set up the rate coming up in just a few moments, where can we find you, and what do you have going on this coming out this week?
So you can find a Melball on Twitter at Collins Melball. You can find her on Instagram, Facebook, and Mastodon at Melball Collins. And you can also find me on our Facebook fan page for Andrea Melball's Wrestling Talk. I'm usually posting all kinds of stuff on there, stardom articles, stardom pictures, thirst traps for the ladies. We got to keep everyone that satisfied on there. You can also catch all of our episode drops on there, as well as our Andre and Melball's Wrestling Talk YouTube. What else? What else? Monday, we have a new
Right.
episode of Paramindful coming out on our local establishment featuring myself, Alex the Werewolf, and Carl Carafel. We're doing our first part of our two-part series about Ed and Lorraine Warren and all that spooky ooky dookie ookie ish that they had to deal with when they started their career. And that drops at 5 p.m. Mountain Time on our local establishment's Twitch, as well as Paramindful's YouTube channel.
There we
And
go.
of course, Andre and Melball's Wrestling Talk is like dropping
Yeah,
like
I was
every
gonna say.
other day right now because of
Hmm.
tournaments.
Like,
But
when
you can
don't you
find
have
us
a
there.
tournament going on? When? That's my
When are
question.
they going on? They're never not going on. This one goes on until I believe March 4th, and right when that ends, we got an NJPW one. So they
Yeah.
really are never ending here. But you can find us posting usually on Mondays and Wednesdays at between 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. on Andre and Melball's Wrestling Talk.
Yeah,
And where can
for
we find
me,
you, my friend?
you can find me on my Twitter as Pizarro and my Instagram as Pizarro20. Usually I'm on Tuesdays doing taking over with my good friend Ed, who was in the comments a little bit earlier, and then
Hmm.
Thursdays we're making an impact with Cody. Again, it's just another week of February tapings that I've been to, so it's interesting to see them how they can play off on the stream after I've seen them already. Other than that, if you go on my YouTube channel, I do have my past Astrid Ass as well, and the past episodes of our podcast. If you haven't checked that out yet, and if you prefer checking them out on podcast platforms, you can always go on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Good Pods has been a good, a good place for us so far, and being recommended there very often by their crew as well. So I want to shout out them out because they've been really great to us since we started being in that
Hmm.
platform as well. But yeah, I also have my NXT review on Women's Wrestling Talk. And I'm trying to think. Oh, I do have an interview coming up with Ashley Vega that I'll be releasing sometime soon. I think maybe next week. I hope. Um, and lining up another one for March, hopefully. But yeah, just really exciting things. I know Bobby and I will be talking about Scream 6 coming up on OLE as well. So I'm really excited about that. If you haven't been to the YouTube channel, I do have my Scream 6 trailer reaction there too. So yeah, just really excited about all the stuff that we had going on in different places and different things too.
Hmm.
But yeah, for those of you that are sticking by, I'm gonna rate my friend Oscar, aka Resurrect. He's playing Hogwarts Legacy that I think just came off like maybe a day or two ago, if I'm not mistaken. But other than that, I want to thank everybody for being in the comments and supporting us here. And on Sunday, hopefully, we'll have the audio version and the rest on the podcast platforms too for this episode. But yeah, thank you everybody for stopping by. We'll see you next time.